Here is how to comment during the Frankly Speaking show. On your computer, look to the right of the video. That's your live chat hub. Click the Say Something box at the bottom, type your message, and hit enter. Boom, you're live. On the mobile app, it's just as easy. Tap the live chat button right under the video to open the window. Pro tip, if you're in full screen mode, tap the screen once and hit the chat icon to see messages without leaving the action. Can't type? Check 2 things. Make sure you're signed in and see if subscribers only mode is on. You might need to sub and wait a few minutes. Keep it respectful, follow the mod's rules, and have fun.
Good day. It is episode 200. Yes, it's episode 200 of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica Podcast. And we are so proud and excited that you've been with us. Some of you, through all the changes and the wide berth of national and international issues we have covered or we have taken on. Special thanks to team members Desmond Richards, Winnie Anderson Brown, and Joshua Black, who have remained so faithful and loyal and supportive. Thanks to the many guests who have given flavor and character to the program. And thanks to those technical supporters from the very first program, nearly 3 years ago. Today's Frankly Speaking podcast has a changed format and will run for 90 minutes with a bounty of outstanding guests. They include Richard Vernon, Mayor of Montego Bay and Chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation. Clyde Williams, Attorney at Law and Public Commentator. Later we'll be joined by Patrick Maitland, Editor and Publisher of the Agriculturist Magazine. Trade Unionist Vincent Morrison. And later still, Educator Dr. Darian Henry and businesswoman and one of our early presenters, Mary White. It's International Women's Day. Let's never stop celebrating women. We want to start with our viewer's song created by Winnie. It's dedicated to you, our viewers and listeners. It was Winnie who introduced us to AI early on. So here's Winnie on the viewer's song.
I am here. I am here, and I would just invite Joshua to just go ahead and play the song.
The lights go up, the mics are lit. We're feeling that energy. That Sunday drive, whether you're here while the lights go up, the mics are lit. We're feeling that energy, that Sunday drive, whether you're here while the clock is ticking or catching the replay, the plot is thickening from the very first word to the final thought. Who stay, and our viewers watching from miles away. If you live in the chat or on a late night screen, you're the heartbeat of the Frankly Speaking insight is deep. Even on the replays while the rest of us sleep. You keep the conversation moving along. Growing this family, making us strong. Real talk, real people every single week. Giving a voice to the truths that we see. Don't let the fire fade, don't walk away. We've got so much more that we want to say. Your loyalty is the fuel in our tank. And for every minute it's you we thank. To our listeners, the ones who stay, and our viewers watching from miles away. If you live in the chat or on a late night screen, you're the heartbeat of the Frankly Speaking scene. We see you, we hear you, we appreciate the love. You're the spark we're always thinking of. Yeah. Keep watching, keep listening, keep being in you. We'll be right back here with something brand new. Hey, mark your calendars, don't be late. Next week's episode is gonna be great. Be sure to come back, we'll see you then. And frankly speaking, until we meet again.
Thank you. Winnie, how did we get that song?
Well, it's always important to show appreciation to our listeners. And thanks to AI, we were able to use Suno. Joshua and I were able to use Suno to create that song. Suno along with Gemini to create that song for our listeners. Of course, we had to tell them what we wanted to say. And I use this opportunity to say congratulations to you, Franklin, and to Desmond, who has always been here. And thanks to our viewers. AI, it has really made a big difference in what we can do today.
Thank you. And just the last question for now on that. Sorry, Desmond, go ahead.
No, see, you see, AI is trying to make reggae music.
Well, Winnie, I just to get that, you decided on the genre. You decided you gave them the words that you wanted to say for the lyrics of that song, and then it just got created.
Well, Joshua can tell you that episode where we did that song, at least the words were created along with Gemini, and then Suno did the music. But you can choose any genre of music that you like when you want to create a song using Suno. I have several genres that I have used. I'm a country girl, so I love country music. So I have various things that I have created. But this is a day and age where we can create anything we want. Yeah.
All right. We encourage you to send your questions and comments to us by using the appropriate space on YouTube or following the instructions given up earlier. Now we want to start with some political issues, which Mayor Richard Vernon will help us with. We were expecting Clyde Williams by this time, but we haven't seen him, and we're still expecting Vincent Morrison. Should Jamaicans be concerned about the direction of the country right now? And I'm referring to the end of the Cuban medical program. I'm referring to crime. I'm referring to police fatal shootings. I'm referring to Melissa's aftermath, following all that devastation the country faced, among other issues. Mayor Vernon, you are in government, so I start with you. Should Jamaicans be concerned at the direction of the country right now, or should we just feel pretty satisfied about it?
Jamaicans should always be concerned, because we operate in a space that we don't have 100% control. we have some control, and therefore we always have to be asking ourselves each morning when we get up, where next, what do we improve, what do we maintain, and how do we move forward. So that's the point of concern that all Jamaicans should have.
But for you, how was the restoration been going in that part of the world, in St. James, and what's been the role of the council in this? I get the sense that municipal corporations have not had much to do, even though they are close on the ground to the thing. Municipal corporations have not had much to do with the restoration.
So the limits are somewhat set out in the Disaster Risk Management Act and how the central government operates within the space when you are dealing with disasters. Municipal corporations primarily deal with the preparation and mitigative work where disasters are concerned. And in the immediate aftermath, the municipal corporations have to act. The municipal corporations are the entities that ensure that the roads were cleared immediately after the hurricane, ensure that we connect the necessary areas to restore supply chain, work with the necessary entities through the Emergency Operations Center to restore services. And that is about what we do as a municipal corporation. In terms of the larger recovery effort, that is something that central government had to take on because it came with a bigger budget, with much of the decisions that needed to be made to cover a larger area. And as a result, you find that the recovery effort was streamlined through ADPEM. It is being streamlined through ADPEM and the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, and also the Ministry responsibility for land titling infrastructure. Those are the entities that had to step in and up to this point in time deal with the recovery effort. But our recovery effort in Montego Bay and across St. James has been steady. There's much work that needs to be done still, but much has been done. And as a result, we have a steady outlook where our services are concerned. They have been largely restored. And as a result, we have reverted to normal operations through the ministry, agency, department, and at the municipal corporation level. Therefore,
you are council.
We deactivated the Emergency Operations Center as a result.
Mayor, you are councillor for part of Montego Bay. When people come and approach you and say, we haven't had our roof back, we haven't had any assistance for this or that, what do you tell them?
First question, were you assessed? Did you apply? If you have applied, then we ask them to be a little bit more patient as they continue to process the applications. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security reported approximately 14,000 reports and reported house damages, and they're from severe to minor damage. And of that, about 10% of the persons have received assistance just thus far. The process is...
Of that, about 10% have received assistance so far?
Thus far, right. So the process is application, assessment, processing, and then the payout. As far as I'm concerned, the application part has been exhausted, and now they are doing the processing, assessment and processing. The assessment is well advanced, and the processing is what we need to get done so the payout can continue. So those are the steps to ensure that person gets assistance. So we continue to, the conversation with the persons, urge caution and patience in terms of how they go about seeking assistance and jumping onto some platforms, believing that they can randomly get assistance from wherever this message is coming from. But that's not the case. They have to be mindful of being scammed and pay attention to the information coming out of the Jamaica Information Service and the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Are you concerned that so few people seem to have had assistance so far? I think you mentioned it's 10%. Is this St. James, the numbers you were running there at 14,000 and 10%? Is that St. James?
St. James.
Yes. So are you concerned that at this time, so few people have had assistance. You know, people who have lost their houses, people who have lost roof, people who have lost possessions and so on. Are you concerned, Mayor?
Of course. I mean, there's room for improvement, and coming out of a Category 5 disaster, there has been much gaps in terms of how we respond in a particular way and how we get services to people, and especially when it comes to the recovery part, how best to ensure that the money is paid out in such a way that does not put the government at risk of breach, of dealing with the auditing part of things and ensuring that person get the assistance at the same time. So it is a situation that has to be navigated properly, but I'm concerned not that they have not received the assistance, but the pace at which it has been issued. But it is happening, and I'm happy for that. And I just want the persons to ensure that they do what needs to be done so that they can get their assistance. What I realized is that many of the persons, they were a little bit reluctant when they were asked to go on the platform and apply. And when they saw that this is a real thing, money is being paid and persons are indeed getting assistance, there was a mad rush closer to the closing of the portal for applications for persons to go on and apply. And of course, that mad rush now, that has to be assessed. Those persons, their homes will have to be assessed by either the Social Development Commission or the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, so they too can get their assistance. The ones who have received, those were the early birds. They're the ones who follow the instructions and are now getting the assistance.
May I know that you are the... Desmond, go ahead. Go ahead, Desmond.
So, Mayor, are you satisfied? First of all, the number you mentioned there, that 14,000.
Approximately.
Is that 14,000 the number of victims, hurricane victims in the parish of St. James?
Certainly not. The 14,000, approximate 14,000 are the persons who have applied, who are being processed, or will be processed.
So it therefore means that there are thousands have not applied then?
It is possible, but we have to get the correct data before we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
So are you doing anything? Are the municipality doing anything to gather that data?
That is the responsibility of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security as well as the ADPEM. What we're doing is to ensure that those who are registered and who are poor relief, they are getting assistance through our poor relief department. We have a registered list of outdoor poor, registered list of indoor poor, and we also collaborate with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security to get an update on the persons with disabilities, senior citizens, and other vulnerable groups. We also have, through the Mayor's Charity Fund, the Mayor's Charity Fund Adopt a Home House program, where we seek to get funding locally or internationally. And we are in the pilot phase. We are going to launch the program extensively soon. We're wrapping up that pilot. We have identified 8 homes and houses that we are restoring, and that will be completed shortly. As soon as we have completed that and we look at the SWOT of the program, then we're going to launch it out properly so that we can get some more assistance to those who are not getting assistance through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
What is the status? There are some roads which are the municipality of the responsibility of the municipality. What is the status of those roads in the parish that falls under the municipality?
80% of those roads were restored. We still have some that will need extensive work, and we will have to get some special funding to address those in the short term.
Yeah. I saw where the Auditor General named a number of municipalities across the country for delinquency in filing reports. What is the status of the St. James municipality? Is it up to date?
We are 2 years behind. It will be up to date by July of this year.
Oh, you are 2 years
Say that again,
behind.
Mayor.
We are 2 years behind, and we will have everything up to date by July of this year.
Okay.
Mayor, can I take you back to another national issue, which we're going to be speaking about a bit here. The Cuban medical program, which is a national program. How do you feel about the end to that?
The doctors from Cuba, they have contributed to the development of our health sector over the years. We're grateful for that. Not only in health, they have also contributed in education. I remember attending Rosie's High School. One of our teachers was from Cuba. Was a Spanish teacher. And it has been a productive bilateral relationship for that point in time. How I feel about it, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm still assessing it. The information not yet clear. And as soon as I have a proper assessment of the situation, then I know exactly how to feel about it.
I am happy, Mayor Vernon, that you mentioned education, because that has been a concern of mine since the Cuban doctors went. I wonder what is going to happen, if it will affect what happens in education. I know you don't have the answer, but it's an issue that I am concerned about. How will it affect those Cubans who are here in our education system? I know you don't have the answer, but it's a question that I have.
Well, we have to keep it as a rhetoric for now.
Yes, I understand.
Mayor, your parish of St. James was once considered the center of violence in Jamaica. The crime rate has gone down significantly. What's the feel generally as far as you're concerned among your constituents, among business people down there with regard to crime?
Right. So there's a high level of gratefulness being shown towards the police force, the work that they have done, and how they continue to manage crime and violence within the space. We are also benefiting from the confidence among the business operators within the space, being that crime is on the low. And I'm not referring only to homicide, also other major crimes, robberies, rape, shooting, you name it. Those have declined significantly. And Montego Bay continues to enjoy a peaceful space. We have our little blips here and there. Of course, the work is not done. It has only begun. And we have to continue to employ all the necessary tools to ensure that we manage the situation. Apart from policing, there are several other things that we have to continue to do. And social intervention is important. We have to continue to build out our communities. We have to continue to ensure that the youngsters are properly engaged. They have jobs. We have to continue to register our people, ensure that they are properly identified. Our role at the Municipal Corporation to ensure that we roll out extensively the civic numbering so persons can have proper address. So that will help with policing to ensure that the infrastructure within the community is improved so that they have access, and to ensure that we have general social overhead investment right across the parish so that the people can feel a level of security, not just from crime, but also access to basic services. We believe that the broken window theory is applicable in this case. And once you have small infractions happening without being addressed, they grow into bigger situations that will later need significant intervention to deal with. So we continue to address the smaller issues across the municipality so that we can get order. And with that order comes some level of security and protection for our citizens.
I know that we'll explore the other issues. So, Vincent Mercer, welcome. Welcome, Vincent. Is he there? Thought I saw him a while ago. No, but go ahead, Desmond.
What is the mayor's concern about increase police killings?
Well, we don't have that to deal with in St. James, but I've heard it nationally. As I said, I'm a person that deals with the data. We have heard about it, but I don't have the numbers before me to say this is a situation or that is a situation. A proper investigation done with the findings being reported. I know that it is a feeling and it is being reported, but I don't want to comment on matters that I don't have the full information on.
What
But Mayor, as a leading citizen in Montego Bay, you must be aware of the fact that the police killed more than 300 people last year, as a significant uptick in the numbers, and that the numbers so far this year are significant.
It's over 50. Over 50.
Indicom has put out some data at the weekend. I don't know if Joshua can put his hand on a little segment there. But Indicom responded up to March 6th, and it said the Independent Commission of Investigation was notified and responded to commence independent investigations into the circumstances of a police operation along Comfort Road in Clarendon. This is obviously not St. James. The incident resulted in the fatal shooting of 3 men. This is for Thursday, and the shooting injury of a 4th man. The deceased men have been identified: 27-year-old Michael Pinnock, 35-year-old Dean Williams, and Roshane Lynch. And Indicom's release said 6 persons have been fatally shot by the security forces during the month of March, as up to Friday, bringing the year-to-date total to 54 persons shot and killed in 2026. Okay. No wonder if you are troubled when you hear those numbers, Mayor.
So does the report suggest that these persons were killed without challenging the police, or they were?
Yeah, the report goes on to give the details, and that in this particular case, police stopped a vehicle, and one man came out, pointed his gun at the police, and then there was a shootout, and 3 men got shot.
Before we continue, Franklin, let's bring in our viewers. It's important to bring them in at this point.
Sure. Before you respond, Mayor, yes. Winnie, go ahead. Go ahead, Winnie, please.
Yes. Annalie Bernard says the Cuban government is having economic problems and is unable to properly look after their own people. And Grace McLean says, I didn't realize that Cuban teachers are teaching in Jamaican schools. Thanks for the information. And Annalie Bernard says, what about the amount of people that criminals killed? Does not add up to what police killed. And final one for now, Owen Richards says, will the country asking Jamaica to sever its relationship with the Cuban medical personnel fill the void that will result? Back to you.
All right, thanks, Winnie. And we're coming back to those questions. But Mayor, just want to move on from the fatal shootings, and somebody there saying, as you notice, that the numbers being killed by criminals doesn't add up to the numbers being killed by the police. But you were asking whether the police were attacked, and that's what they said, that they stopped a vehicle, that man came out of the driver's side, pointed a gun at them, and details of it, where the men were shot.
Okay.
Anybody who has been...
Desmond, let him just answer that before you ask him the other question.
Before the mayor responds, let me say this. Anybody who has been living in Jamaica for the last 30 years will know that the police shoot, the versions given by the police in these shooting incidents is controversial. And that is why Indicom and all right-thinking Jamaicans are insisting that the police should wear body cams so that they can provide and challenge information about these shootings.
Mayor, you were asking that. I was asking you whether you, as a Jamaican person, as a leader in local government, as a leader, whether you were concerned about the numbers. And I gave you the numbers for last year.
I pay attention to happenings right across the country, but I want to comment on matters concerning St. James. And if you have that disaggregated information and you can provide it, where it is saying that in St. James there's an increase in extrajudicial killing based on what you're saying, then I will tell you what I think about that. But where St. James is concerned, we have moved from approximately 350 murders for the year down to 52. And at that time, I did not hear anybody saying that, the police is shooting criminals and too many of them. But now I'm hearing that the number is 52. And I'm not sure if in St. James, the number of criminals murdered are more than 52. But the number is 52. Too many citizens were killed last year. And we intend to get it lower than that this year. So we continue to partner with the police and all the necessary entities to ensure that we drive that number down, because we want to be the safest city in the Caribbean.
Do you support the body-worn cameras as well? Hold on, Desmond. Let me just get him on this. Do you support the wearing of the body-worn cameras for police officers going on these operations, Mayor?
Of course, you need clarity on the situation. Police officers are human beings, and of course, even though they are given a particular instruction to carry out, they might go there and do something contrary to that instruction. So you want to know exactly what happened. So I do support it. The government is pushing for it. So I believe that it is best practice, something that is seen being executed in other parts of the world and is working well. So if we adopt that, we can get better clarity and we can try cases and we can get more responsible policing within the space.
Before we move on, there's an error of fact that needs to be corrected.
Winnie, please go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Grace McLean, she numbered Anchovy High as one of the schools that the Cuban government built. That is erroneous. So let's remove Anchovy High from that list.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the significant shootings for this year, police shootings, involve a 4-year-old in your parish, Mayor. A child, a baby was killed in his bed in our controversial police shootings in St. James.
Yeah, very sad and unfortunate. And, we have woodlums with families. And sometimes when the police are carrying out the operation, you find that there are very unfortunate cases where they try to attack the police and the police respond. And it just turned out how it was not supposed to turn out. And you have unfortunate situations like those. Very, very unfortunate.
Mayor, I want to thank you for joining us today. You were one of our earlier guests. We spoke at that time a lot about local government, about issues of want to pay. I don't think some of those issues have been fixed yet, Mayor, but we're going to come back.
I want to congratulate you on your 200 milestone. I remember when you just started. I can't believe you had 200 already. That's a lot of work. Congratulations to you and the team. That's a lot of work.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you. And we will come back to you another time about local issues in particular. Vending on the street.
Yes. We will have some updates on those.
Market issues, but we will talk about them another time. Thank you very much, Mayor.
All right. All the best. See you on the team.
And thanks a lot. That was Mayor Richard Birdman. Now, we're going to move on, but we want to start this next segment. Welcome to Patrick Maitland. Patrick, you look quite relaxed. Thank you for joining us. Also, one of our guests over several issues, and he speaks on many issues. Before we start this section, we'd love Winnie to pick up on. Winnie, you asked some questions, and some of us didn't see the schools listed. So I wanted to take Grace again and some other comments. And then Winnie is going to tell us a little bit about AI.
Okay.
Winnie is our resident expert there.
The Grace McLean, she said that the Cuban government built a number of schools in Jamaica: Jose Marti, Gave Macio, G.C. Foster College, and Anchovy High. And I am taking Anchovy High from that list. I should tell you that I took the advantage of the AI because that was not my information. So I decided to quickly research it, and I asked Meta AI, that's Llama 4, and did the Cuban government build Anchovy High School in Jamaica? I knew the answer. I got the answer. No. The Cuban government didn't build Anchovy High School in Jamaica. Anchovy High School is in St. James, Jamaica, and was built with assistance from the Venezuelan government as part of a cooperation agreement between Venezuela and Jamaica. And I know that Venezuela, another
Oh,
Spanish-speaking country, has relationships with Jamaica. Yes?
Yeah, if you were living in Jamaica in the 70s, those of us who were living in Jamaica in the 70s will know the three schools that the Cuban
Right,
built.
right,
Yes,
right. So we just had to correct that. They were not that side of the world of Jamaica at all. They were not in St. James. And this, who is this? Uh, this comment says, isn't St. James in Jamaica? Doesn't the citizens of St. James travel outside that parish? Why wouldn't the mayor be concerned about the entire country? If I may, the mayor doesn't have responsibility for the entire country. So it is not, I don't think, in fairness to the mayor, he can answer about the entire country. Annalie Bernard, also the police went to the scene of the 4-year-old. They find the child shot. That's a bit of information Annalie's giving. And Grace McLean, I love your spirit. She says, thanks for the correction. Back to you, Franklin.
no, okay. So you know, and AI, Winnie, it's your time to tell us a little bit about AI.
Okay. So in March, let me begin in November 30, 2022. That was when the world changed. That was when OpenAI made a ChatGPT available to the general public. And once something is made available to the general public, you know that is not the beginning. You know it has been going on for a while, and now it was released to then. By January 2023, there were over 100 million subscribers to ChatGPT. That's OpenAI's ChatGPT. Also, those of us who remember Bing Chat, no one was using Bing. People hardly used Bing, but Bing Chat was powered with the same technology that powered ChatGPT. So Bing, that put some life into Microsoft's Bing, and Bing is now, Bing has changed over time. So when we think of Google Gemini, Bing has also changed over time as well. So it was just March 2023 that Gemini, it wasn't Gemini then, but what we call Gemini now, it was just March this month. I am not even sure, I don't remember the date when it was launched. So with AI where it is today, I have never seen anything, and I'm sure no one else in my lifetime has seen anything that has moved as fast as AI. When we just started in 2023, when I encouraged people to pay attention, those days ChatGPT was making quite a few errors, and it could not give you any information beyond 2022. That is what it was trained on. So it was not able to go to the internet and give you information at the time. It could only tell you what it was trained on. And I remember sharing on this very podcast that it was time to pay attention to what is happening with artificial intelligence. And I even shared with you a mistake that ChatGPT made when I asked about Bard. That was Google's first bot that it put out, Google Bard. And when I asked what was Bard, ChatGPT told me that Bard was Shakespeare because Shakespeare is known as the Bard. So at that time, I cautioned people not to just take what you get when you go to the chatbots. You should do further research. I still say that now, but AI has come, artificial intelligence has come a long way. They're not
So, Winnie, is
hallucinating.
there
Yes,
need for caution in using the AI? For example, you said that you checked with regard to the school.
yes.
Is it should we take as gospel whatever we pick up, and welcome Vincent Morrison, we coming to you. Should we take as gospel what we when we go to AI for an answer, for a question?
No, no, we should always check. I will share with you
Check
what
against
happened.
what? Check
Check
against
against,
what?
first of all, ask it for its source of information. And in this case, I could check from my own knowledge that that the Cubans did not build a school in 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 St. James. So there are times when you ask it for its sources of information. I'll share this with you. I putting green bananas in the refrigerator. I That's something I asked. So I told someone to ask Meta AI, and Meta said, "Oh, it's a very good idea to put the green bananas in the refrigerator." And then I chipped in and I said, "Hey, I heard you giving wrong information a while ago. Did you ask if the bananas were intended to be cooked green or ripe?" And it responded, "My bad, my bad. If you want to cook it, don't keep the green ones in." So I'm saying that you don't just take what is said like that. Just like when we go to the internet, we had to teach that when you go to the internet, there's some sites that you don't take information from. You cross check with other sites. And we used to tell students use when you see .edu.jm or .edu anywhere, pay more attention to that because anybody can put anything on the internet. And remember this, that the bots, they have access to everything that is written. And that is why it is easy for them to really give you information. But it's always, the onus is always on those who check to make sure that the information is correct before sharing it.
Right. Thank you very much, Winnie. Thank
You
you.
are very
We
welcome.
are joined by Patrick Maitland, editor and publisher of The Agriculturist. He's a businessman and he lives mainly between Jamaica and the US. And I mentioned that because he has some expertise and some knowledge about the diaspora. And Vincent Morrison is a well-known trade unionist. And we should have had Vincent from last week on some several issues and earlier on. But Vincent, what is your understanding? Welcome again. What is your understanding of what's happening with the Cuban medical program? How do you feel about that? Where is he? Is he gone? Have we lost him? Have we lost him?
Seems that
See,
way.
seems so. All right, Patrick, can we start you off there? What's your impression on what's happening with the Cuban medical program? Patrick, is he hearing us?
Maybe
Patrick's
he's
not hearing us.
muted. Check
All
to see
right,
if
good.
he's muted.
I'm
Yes.
I'm good now. I'm good now. So I've been monitoring this situation a little while now.
Pick up your volume a little bit for us, Patrick, please.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I've been monitoring this situation a little while now, and what I understand with it, and I have some friends that are very close with the Cuban workers in Jamaica and also the Cubans in Cuba. I also have friends in the diplomatic mission that are in Cuba as well. And I did a little stint in that mission as well. Not in Cuba though, in New York. So what happened is that, as you would have all known, that the Cuban Medical Brigade has been around a good time. When it started out, it was a free service that the Cuban government was offering to friendly states. And we all know it has some political alignment, right? It was showing how much a communist regime can help. And they were backed by Russia as well at the time. And it was a free service going on for a good while. all the government of Jamaica would do, or the host country would we to help with some of the like lodgement and things like that. It was basically a free service. So after a while, Cuba becomes strapped for cash with the demise of the Soviet Union as well, and they're just not getting that level of support. Plus, the U.S. sanction also put a big strain on the economy. So as a result of that, Cuba has to find some way of generating money. So I don't remember exactly when it started, but they began to charge the host country for the service. And most of the countries subscribed to it and was very willing to do it. Now, when it started to really get a little sticky, is when the medical professional themselves complain. Because by the way, the government pay the money directly to the Cuban government, and then the Cuban government send whatever to the medical workers. So the medical workers, after a while, they start to complain. Sometimes they don't get their stipend in time, and they don't get the money that is being paid. I understand they get like 50% less of what is paid out by the government of Jamaica or by whichever host country.
That is under query, Patrick, because the figures that I've heard are quite different, and the nature and the way the payments are done
And
is also
who
quite
did the
different.
workers complain to? Who the workers complain to, Patrick?
Well, first of all, they can't complain publicly because of the situation.
So who they complain to? You are saying they complain.
Yes,
Who?
people like myself, ordinary
They
people.
complain to you?
Yes,
They
people who
complain
know
to
them.
you?
All right, don't put it like that. People who know them, they would complain, but they cannot make formal complaint, and you know that they cannot make
No,
formal complaint.
I don't know. I
You
don't
don't
know.
know
You
what?
are telling me that they complain.
Yes, they do.
That's what you are.
Don't dispute that. Please don't dispute that. They did
I am not
complain.
I
Well,
am not
Patrick, I know
disputing.
some of
I'm
I
asking
know
who
a
they
few of them,
complain
and they
to.
have never. I know a few of them, and they have never complained. But I want to get to the. I don't want us to get bogged down on the complaint
Because they
issue.
know
I
you're
just
a
want you to go.
journalist and they don't know if the source is confidential.
I'd love you to. I love you to explain, Patrick. Get to the
Yes.
point where you are
Yes.
going with regard to what's happening to the program. Whether
Right.
you
So
believe, whether you believe that it's some disagreement with the Cubans, why Jamaica can't proceed, or whether you believe it's pressure from the U.S.
all right. So
administration.
from about 2023, 2022, the government of Jamaica has been my information that I got, and it was verified recently by Foreign Affairs Minister and the Minister of Health, that they have been negotiating with the Cubans from 2023, and they just don't reach an agreement with it because what Jamaica government is saying, they have a few options. One, let's pay the doctors directly, and you know, we give a fee as to the what is required, but we pay them directly. Cubans say no to that, right? Then the U.S. now, because remember over the years, the U.S. has had several demands on the Cuban government, and the medical situation is just one that came in 4 or 5 years ago. It didn't start recently with Trump, right? And they began to look at it and say, no, these guys need to be
So
paid.
you believe, because we have to move on, but you believe that the situation has been brought about by the disagreement between the Jamaican government and the Cuban government, and since 2023, and this matter can't be worked out, and hence Jamaica is going to stop West getting
All
Cuban
right. So here
medical
my
work.
point. Here my point on it now. Every country have to have some strategic partners and allies. Cuba has Russia, China as theirs, right? And other country, everybody have something. Jamaica has the US as a strategic partner. And if one of the strategic partners say, listen, I don't like that arrangement and I don't want it to be in it, they are gonna listen to their pressure as well. It's part of it, obviously, right? And I don't think it means any sellout, and I don't think it means that we're not being independent, right? There are several things. China, you can't do nothing with Taiwan. A lot of countries can't do nothing with Taiwan if they have a relationship with China, right? And Russia, the same thing with Russia and Cuba. They all have countries that have to toe the line. And that's what happened to small nations many times. So I wouldn't doubt it. The Jamaica government most likely got some influence from
Okay.
the U.S. government, and nothing is wrong with that because let us look at it too. The Jamaica government is also violating labor laws if they are following.
Desmond, your quick response before we move on. Desmond, your quick response. Quick.
No, what I know, based on what I know that the what happened there, it is part of the American government um decision to increase the pressure on Cuba. And remember, if you listeners and viewers will recall that the Prime Minister of so was it St. Kitts, he indicated that the U.S. indicated to him that he should cease training doctors in Cuba. And as you know, the Trump administration has increased the pressure on Cuba, and therefore it is using its influence on Caribbean countries. As you know, this area, America says it is backyard, and we must obey or abide by what the Americans are saying. And therefore, I have no doubt that what we see is part of the American pressure on Cuba.
And Desmond, how you respond to Patrick's argument that each country has its own areas of interest, its own strategic partners, and the U.S. is Jamaica's strategic partner, and Jamaica is responding to that strategic partner in the way that Cuba might respond to its strategic partner.
Well, one of the things that we should observe with this, when you have relationship with your strategic partners, is what it does for you in time of need. Because one of the things you must remember, and we should remember, the shortage of medical personnel in Jamaica didn't start in the 70s. We have been having this problem for decades. And our strategic partner, United States and Britain, what have they done to satisfy or to help us with that? What have they done? So yes, your strategic partner. Well, let us see what our strategic partner is going to do now to fill the void left by the withdrawal of the Cuban medical workers.
So I want to say,
and as we move on from the story is not done because there were some questions asked about what's going to happen to the education component of the assistance between the two countries. But beyond that, what's going to happen to fill the many vacancies? It's not just doctors, by the way. Many people know that there are also nurses, there are also technicians, there are people who work in the labs. They have served us well over the years. They have served us well, and the eye care program was a standout program that helped a lot of Jamaican people. I'm also concerned as what's going to happen to the training received by Jamaicans on scholarships in Cuba. But I'm sure over the next week or 2 or 3, we're going to hear more. And it concerns me a lot that this hobbling healthcare service that we have is going to be deprived even more of high-skilled, technically competent people.
Let's bring in Owen Richards at this point. Owen
Yes.
says Desmond is on point with this one. And let me use the opportunity to say, Annalie Bernard, I don't see that comment that you said was there about criminals and cameras was not read. I don't know. I have not seen that comment. I've since checked. So please write it again. I've not seen it.
Franklin, can I just make a quick point here?
Yes, and then we'll move on from that because
this may be an opportunity.
Yes. And lots of points to be made about it, Patrick.
Yeah,
go ahead.
This may be an opportunity for Jamaica to get its house in order. 50 years of dependency on Cuba to provide medical training, medical staff. That's an indictment on how we operate and how we
There's a lot of indictments on your
Right.
Jamaica operation. An indictment when people go to the hospital and spend four days in a chair. And it has nothing to do with the Cubans. That's an indictment.
No. I didn't say that.
This is something I know of.
I'm saying this should be a wake-up call for us to put our house in order.
Absolutely.
Depending on Cuba or any other medical personnel to be filling the gap.
That is true, Patrick, but that is not what we're trying to do by ending this arrangement. This arrangement has nothing to do with Jamaica either intending to set its house in order or having its house in order.
We're gonna be forced to, because bear in mind, Cuba is not the only place with medical personnel, and also bear in mind the money that the government of Jamaica is paying the Cubans. That same money could have been paid to workers from other countries who are willing to come as well, right? Because I understand they already.
The real answers are in the hospitals, Patrick. Let me just visit them. Okay, Patrick, we want to ask you now, what's the latest on, and we're still talking about Melissa, restoration, recovery. What's the situation now, briefly, with regard to agriculture?
Well, I think the government has done a good job in helping to get the farm sector almost back to normal. A lot of the fruits and vegetables are flooding the market. There are even reports that they are glut. I don't think it's quite glut though. I think it's just a distribution problem. So I think if you go around the countryside and if you look at the reports, a lot of the fruits and vegetables are hitting the market. Eggs are back. Even right now, people are complaining that.
But we're still importing eggs, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And eggs are basically near to come back. Bananas is on its way back to within the next couple of weeks. We should be getting bananas on the market, banana and plantain.
Lots of vegetables are out there.
Lots of vegetables, yes. It's coming.
Lots of vegetables.
And the support from the private sector was very, very, very good. They chip in, they donated seeds, they donated fertilizer, and the Ministry of Agriculture, rather, they did a fantastic job in really helping to empower the farmers with the necessary resources. But there's still room for improvement, I can tell you that. There's still farmers that still don't have their farms back up and running, and even their own dwelling housing. So it's not totally ready yet, but to me, it's really a step in the right direction.
And about when we're going to get back to where we were 6 months ago?
I think by the end of the year, because remember, you have a couple of the root crops, the major crops, like the mangoes, the akis, a lot of those crops were bumped out. So as it relates to the cash crop, shorter term crop, the 1 year crop, most of them should be back by the end of the year.
All right. Patrick, we want to thank you. Patrick Maitland, thanks again for jumping in and being with us and helping us in the. Didn't really ask how the diaspora is doing after the. You have a word on that after the elections and so forth. What's that whole diaspora movement?
Well, I think a lot of people are, because the voter turnout recently was similar to previous years. So I didn't see any major setback with it, right? But you still have a set of people who are adamant. They don't believe that the current structure of the diaspora organization is helping the diaspora, right? What I think they are misunderstanding is that the government put in place their structure and system. The global diaspora, that's the government institution that they set up. We, as people in the diaspora, we should have our own independent structure. And I think that's where we are lacking most times. But most people are pretty much.
Well, over the months and over recent programs, we have spoken to people from diaspora, active in the organization and outside of it, and we will do that again. Thank you very much, Patrick Maitland, for your views and bringing us up to speed and your own thinking with regard to And we're going to hear much more, I'm sure, about the Cuban medical program. We want to bring in now Dr. Darian Henry and Mary Grange. I think I earlier mentioned her as Mary White. Mary Grange, who has been with us for a long time. And there she is looking spiffy, as they say. Welcome to you both. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Welcome to Darren Henry and our colleague Mary. Last week, there was more pain in the nation after an Ocherius High School student, 16 years old, was hit on the back of the head by a schoolmate, and he died. Here's what the Minister of Education had to say on a visit to the school. Joshua is going to play that audio clip for you now. No, we're not getting that clip, Joshua. Okay. It has raised again the matter of who is responsible. Is anybody really responsible when these things happen in the school? Is there anybody to be blamed? Is this the nature of our society? Did I hear Joshua say he's coming through with it?
Yes.
Is this just the nature of our society? Go ahead, Joshua. All right, I think we better leave it. We're not having it. We just see the mayor, the minister, Morris Dixon, striding in the school. So, we want to go to, we asked Mary to think about this and other issues. And we want to start by asking Darren Henry. Darren Henry, is there anybody to be blamed when these things happen? And how do we get out of it?
Boy, I tell you, I'm not sure if we can begin from the point of blame. What we can begin with is that we are facing a crisis. And
why are we not hearing you clearly?
You're not hearing me clearly? You're not hearing me?
I'm not hearing you clearly.
I am.
All right, go again. Mary,
are you hearing me now?
Yes, better now.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Better.
Good afternoon, Franklin, and to members of your panel. I'm not sure we can begin by ascribing blame. What we have to begin with are conversations about what is really happening. We're facing a crisis, and I think we're facing a family life crisis. I think the clip you're going to play with the minister will possibly talk about how we resolve conflicts and how we treat with each other, the interpersonal relationships, and so on. What is happening is that the disciplinary crisis has really taken over our institutions, and our teachers and our administrators do have their hands full. The truth is, Franklin and colleague panelists, family life has changed. The trends in terms of student behavior have changed. But the truth is, our school system has not changed enough to meet the demands of our students. If we look to even the Code of Regulations, which, as you know, was promulgated in 1980, it spoke to the suspension of students. But the truth is, the modern thinking is that the suspension of a student is not the ideal approach to student behavior management. The truth is, our administrators, our teachers, we do have a duty of care, but our parents do have a duty of care as well, because the school system is receiving what the community is producing. And so the school system is trying its utmost best to treat with the maladaptive behaviors of many of our students. Many schools are asking for social workers. There's a social crisis happening in many of our schools. And that's why the call has been echoing for social workers to support the work of administrators and our teachers so that we can have our students behaving properly. So the truth is, it's not a matter of a blame game per se. We really have a social construct problem in our society where our young people who are being socialized differently, they're being socialized by North American media standards, that the best way to resolve issues and the best way is to
let
is to fight it out.
I don't want to focus specifically too much on the Ocherius High incident, but as you know, it's a general problem, and I'm going to come back to you, Darren, after I go to Mary Grange. who is when people say who is responsible or who's to take the blame, should there be any blame on the school system or is it on the parents community? But Mary, we'd love you to jump in because you had some thoughts for us as well.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be back with you guys.
Yeah.
Hi, Winnie.
Hi, Mary.
Mr. Mac. There's either right or wrong in this world, and things are what they are. Family, parents, that's a mother and a father. The person who make the conscious decision to procreate a life has the responsibility to train up that life in the way they want them to grow. So when we have a manifestation in our schools, a social breakdown, we cannot look to the government, we cannot look to the teachers. We now have to trace it to its roots. Crime and violence and lawlessness in school result from poor parenting. Our parenting structure has failed. Effective parenting balances social norms and standards and behavior in society. Not that you're not going to have poorly behaved children, but they will not be the majority or the norm. Law will reign when parents rein in their children, and that's my view.
But Mary, in many of these cases, there's no male and female who decided on the creation of this on the procreation for the child.
Precisely.
The society has broken down in many ways.
Breakdown, exactly.
And to understand how to fix it, we have to understand really what has happened. Wouldn't you agree? So is the issue going to be state intervention more, or just say to the community, fix it?
Well, good thing you point that out, that it starts with parents who are not unfit parents procreating. So if we want to go to a state, I'm sure Prime Minister Holness, we could suggest to him that he start castrating people who he believes is unfit to solve the problem. We get straight to the bottom, get straight to the root. If you're not fit for parenting, we like animals. You want to be treated like animals.
Desmond is asking if you should start doing what?
Doing what?
Castrating the children. Castrating parents when they come to an age. Once you deem them unfit.
Mary, withdraw that statement.
I don't agree.
Okay, brother Desmond. I will.
Withdraw that
I don't agree.
My serious answer no is. My serious answer. When we have unfit people giving birth because they have been blessed with the mechanisms of procreation, then we have a serious problem. Is this a problem for government? No, I do not believe so. I believe that this is a problem for community. And when I say community, I mean church community, charity community, and all of those social communities within the community to counsel and guard their people, bring them to God. Because it is through God that we see ourselves and see the substance in life and that gift to give life. So
all right, Mary, Winnie's going to take some comments, and then we're going to, when after the comments, we're going to go to the clip from the minister, and then we're going to come back to Darren Henry, who was going to tell us who is to be blamed, or does the blaming make any sense?
It doesn't at all.
Okay, let me start with A.L. Allen. The USA depends on medical workers from all over the world to work in their healthcare system. That's for the previous segment. And directly related to what Mary said, Keith P. says that is barbaric coming from a woman.
It is barbaric to bring our society down to barbarianism because of poor choices and people giving the wrong, producing wrong children into society.
Franklin.
No,
You make a point, and then we're going to go on.
Parents don't produce wrong children. No, parents don't produce wrong children. No, that is a fallacy. right?
It is because all of these children are end up come on. They're innocent. If you see them, they're innocent.
Exactly.
They can't do a thing
Exactly.
wrong or right
So
at
it's
the time.
wrong parents.
And the
then
society, we shape them, we chisel them into
Right.
peace.
So
very
Franklin,
often.
that's
Sorry,
why I want
let's-
to make the point.
let's-
I really want to make the
Let's
point.
just take that comment from the minister
Okay.
who was at Orcharios High and see if this puts any context to it.
This is Senator Donna Scott Motley. Opposition
No, not that one.
spokesperson
Not
foreign,
that one.
regional
We're not going to get to that one. That is Donna Scott Motley insisting on the government making some comments about clarifying what's happening with regard to the Cuban medical program. We'll take that later. Okay, Darren, go ahead.
Yeah, right. I don't think I'm going to take Mary too seriously on that comment. It may be out of character, but what I want to take, thank you. I want to make the point that much was spent to create a government bureaucracy called the National Parenting Commission. What is the commission doing? It was designed to, among other things, support parenting and to improve parenting practices. It cannot be that we have these bureaucracies with paid professionals and we continue to have these maladaptive behaviors that take over our school system. I can tell you there are many other initiatives that are in our school system that are supposed to help, but they are ineffective. For example, some years ago, we had the school-wide positive behavior attitude, where the school administrators and teachers, they infuse values and attitudes in the teaching learning process. What have we done to assess the strengths and weaknesses of these programs? What kind of annoys me, Franklin, is that we come with the PR machinery at the first go to say that, listen, this is the best thing since sliced bread. But 5 years later, we don't hear anything about these programs as well. We have the HFLE that is also supposed to engender positive behavior and to improve the interpersonal relationship with our young people insofar as their attitudes are concerned. Are these working, right? The other things I want to say just quickly, how we socialize our young men. Much has been said about what music has done and what culture has done and all of that. Music is our culture, so it will not behoove us to blame the music and to blame the culture. We have to improve our parenting standards. We have to improve the support for young parents. Many of them are very young parents. They have not had a chance to really and truly rear their children in the way they're supposed to do it. So there's need for far greater support. The children are here already. We have to calibrate their behavior.
Give me a very quick response to this, Darian, before I ask the same thing of Mary.
Sure.
Yeah.
Most of these people, most of the young adults now have gone to school, have gone through school. Most Jamaican young adults. We know that we don't have 100% attendance in secondary school, but most of them have. If these adults themselves are failing, isn't that also a reflection on the schools through which they have come, which have not influenced them in a particular way?
And I'm going to respond. And I'm going to respond quickly. I think as a society, we are too quick to pull a trigger to blame our schools. We are already under pressure. Much has been done by our teachers and our administrators to lift the standards of our young people. The truth is, the wider society, the wider community too, has a responsibility to coexist with the schools so that our young men and young women can be ready for society. But we can't pull the trigger and blame the teachers and blame the administrators all the while. We must stop it.
Exactly.
And
right.
you know something that there's one organization that I think we need to bring in that organization some more in the school life. The Parent Teachers Association. We need to get those association active. Now I know
Desmond,
that
the parents, the schools will tell you, Desmond, the schools will tell you, and you know that many of the parents who would want to come to the schools to be a part of the PTA, to come to talk to teacher and anybody, they're not coming. The parents are not turning up. In fact, some of them despise the schools. And the schools have done everything for parents to turn up and to be part of the system. They're not turning up. You have to find a
But
way
that's
to
what,
bring them in. I'll
You have
buy
to.
that.
yes,
You
that is
have
what
to.
I'm saying. You have to find a way to bring in the parents into the school life. We have to do
All
that
right.
because
Yeah.
remember, remember the home is the first center of socialization,
Indeed.
and therefore it is important that we get the parents involved so as to
Point made.
change.
Point made, Desmond. I'm going to come back to
Let,
you, Mary, but
let me go to
asking
some
Winnie to
comments.
say these
Let me
comments,
go to
but we
some
don't want to
comments,
leave out
please.
anybody.
Yes, as far as they comment about castration, Mary withdrew that statement, so I will just treat it as that. Kevin Kevin Love says bring back devotion in the schools. And Crystal Cameron Design says it's the parents. Pauline Bin says, how about introducing parenting classes?
That's what the Parenting Commission was supposed to do. And that's what I'm saying. The Parenting Commission was set up some years ago. There was, quite a bit of public furor over it, but we haven't heard from the Parenting Commission in a while. What are our tax dollars being spent on with the Parenting Commission? They have to get out there and do some work and support our schools and support our teachers. That's what we need to do. I want to make a quick point about the devotions.
Hold on. Let us just continue.
Okay.
Darren, let us just finish the comments that we have here, and then we can come back to you.
Sure.
And let's go to Mary as well.
Crystal Cameron Designs, I can teach your child to read, but you, the parent, must teach him to value integrity and to not disgrace you. And Pauline Bin says, attaining M Hall meeting.
Yeah. Okay, Mary, we just want to come back to you on, as Winnie said, you had withdrawn those comments. But what do you think, where do you think the blame should lie? And should it be anything about blame? Is it the schools that are failing because some of these parents, most of these parents did go to school, most of these young parents, and they're out there and they're sending these children? Or is it the community which is hard and crass and so forth? Where should we be looking, Mary?
The blame needs to go to the parents, Sir Mac. And when we send mixed signals, as if to say it can go anywhere else, then we let them off. We give them the impression that this is a problem that may concern somebody else. Parents and only parents have a responsibility to groom and grow their child in the way that society deems valuable, to make them into valuable assets. If not, you're just letting terror loose on society. We have to take responsibility. My mother, I'm going to tell you this story, my personal story. As a child, I grew up, and my mother, my father, took that responsibility to teach me how to love God in order to love myself, in order to love and serve my country, and in order to love and serve others. And that's just the chain of command. Parents have that responsibility, and we cannot try to share it with anybody else, because the first line of socialization before you even exit the womb, remember, life start before you at conception, for me and for God. Before you even exit that child from the womb, that parent is already socializing that child.
Yeah.
Parents have that responsibility, Sir Matt.
Yeah.
Quite true.
But
when
but
government
Mary,
We're coming to you now. We're coming to you now, Darren. Let Winnie just run through.
I
for us
really
again.
appreciate Mary's passion, and to some degree, I do agree with her. But what is missing from Mary's argument is that parenting lifestyles and parenting attitudes have changed. So we, as a society, must change with it. I've seen a comment about birth rate
We're
and all
not
of that.
changing for the good.
Hold on, Darren. Let
Hold on.
Winnie do this
Okay,
comments.
let
We
me go-
don't want to leave out our viewers.
Let me go to
Don't want to leave out
Annalie.
our viewers. Go
Let
ahead,
me go
Mary.
to
Go ahead.
Annalie first. Some parents are not following up with their children by going to school unnoticed and searching their bags, also knowing who their friends are.
Absolutely.
And Pauline Bin says, we can go back to town hall meeting after training. Keith P says, we need a parenting class which must involve
Sector.
the private sector. And then Annalie Bernard goes, you cannot hold the parents and bound them to come to PTA. And final one, Pauline says, just like how training for a skill set, I believe we need training.
So and it underscores the point. There is a cry. Many of our parents are very young and inexperienced. Mary, I totally understand your point. I agree with you. However, they need the support. If parents get the support, the school's burden will be lessened and the focus will be on teaching and learning. A regular teacher will tell you, an average teacher will tell you that they'll spend 60 to 70 minutes of a teaching and learning session to deal with disciplinary issues. The support is needed.
Darian.
Yes.
You see, I am not saying any of what you're saying is wrong, but we must uncategorically set up the hierarchy. Parents, God is our first master, and who put parents in charge of children. Who bad parenting or ineffective parenting is resulting and manifesting in our society because parents have moved away from godly principles of raising their children.
Still have to support them.
If there are some, I don't have a problem with support groups, but there must make no mistake. Parents must.
All right, we're wrapping up this now.
Crystal, Cameron. Let me go to Crystal. Yeah. Let me go to Crystal.
Yes, go ahead, Winnie, and then I'm going to ask Darren and Mary the final question with very short 30-second answers, Darren.
Okay, sure.
Who is the parent here? Can the parent be the that just moved. Who is the parent here? Can the parent be the people who brought them here and the not elected and appointed officials and the taxpayers? And then the teachers need more authority to discipline strictly or dismiss students from classes for disruptive behavior, or whole society is falling behind trying to drag up the lowest common denominators. I agree with Darian Henry. We are living in a world of dysfunctional families, so support is needed. That's Grace McLean. And finally, Mary has some support here. Pauline Bain says Mary is correct, and that's block capitals.
Darren, you have 30 seconds to finish this one because we're wrapping up the program.
Sure.
Darren, are the schools able to handle, with the present resources, the present programs, what is coming in at them?
And my short, sharp answer is no. There's far more support needed. I'm telling you, and there are disparities in the system. There are some schools that are better resourced to deal with these maladaptive behaviors and others that are struggling. So my big, sharp, fat answer is no. Far more support is needed. We need the social workers in the school. We need additional support to treat with our maladaptive children. It's needed. It's stressing out our teachers.
All right, thank you. Mary, where would you start? Mary, you've withdrawn and dumped the castration issue. Where would you start if given the responsibility, Mary, to deal with what schools are facing? Because they're facing very serious issues. Where would you start, Mary, if you were given the responsibility in terms of practical
advice? Parents first, community second. Churches need to do their jobs as well. Churches need to do more community outreach to have these training that you're talking about to help parents to come to God so that they can live a life worth emulating, but to live out a righteous.
You're not giving me the practical activities yet, Mary.
Yes,
that I want.
Practically. So the churches, one practical, they need to get into the social work. The churches need to do that. Second, the government need to set up a police station in schools, obviously, to deal with these people. Because if you come to school with a mindset to cause war and inflict harm, then we know of a crime.
We have visa discipline in schools. We have visa discipline.
Mary, we heard you, Mary.
It is what it is.
Before Winnie goes now, Joshua is going to play that clip he has been searching for from the minister. Joshua, we have one last try at it because we don't have much more time. Go ahead, Joshua. Let's hear what the minister says.
All of Jamaica to pray for our children across the country. Our children are hurting. There is anger there, and we have to work really hard to get to the bottom of it, to provide the psychosocial support to these children and to develop communities that can support these children. These children do not just come out of thin air. They are parts of communities. And what we are seeing in the schools is what we're seeing in our communities and behavior from our communities. And we have to stop it.
All right. That was, thanks, Joshua.
I rest my case.
That was a clip.
I
We have
rest
to
my
stop
case.
it. She said, the
I rest my
parent,
case.
there's hurt, children are hurting. There is anger there.
They need
Winnie, you agree?
They need
Well,
support. too.
the whole
Support
discussion
people.
would go in a different direction if I give my comments. You don't have time for my view on the whole thing. Too much copy taking.
Support plus Jesus. That's what the communities need.
All right, Winnie, finish up the comments for us before we
Kevin,
wrap up.
Kevin Love says, yes, Miss Mary, amen. Crystal Cameron Designs, if we need to start a public program for parenting, then we need to roll it all up and down and take down the flag and remove the word Jamaica from the map and just admit that we cast our pearls to swine. I'm just reading. Next comment. Owen Richard says, don't forget that parents and children are in a world with social and environmental conditions that must be addressed.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all. We want to say thanks to all of those who were with our guests today, and for all of those who have been guests over the 200 episodes on Frankly Speaking. And remember, we are just reminding you that we weren't always formatted like this on a Sunday. Sometimes it was just Desmond and myself, and Desmond and myself are really putting some comments together. We weren't live all of the time. We weren't doing 1 hour all the time. We were doing 30 minutes. Before that, we were doing 15 minutes. And we are now up to 1 hour. This program is a special program, and that's the only reason why we are there at 1 hour, 30 minutes. We really thank you all for being with us today. And guests over this period have been very than many ministers of government and permanent secretary. We had business leaders, very many different people of different skills, ordinary people who have come on. We remember two who are no longer with us. Patrick Smith, educator Patrick Smith of the JTA, and Lenward Fulton, also of the JAS, Jamaica Agricultural Society, and in his own right, farmer and agriculturalist. Thanks to all of you, our viewers and listeners. Remember, you can go back and watch this program and others before that anytime you like by just going with the same link. On behalf of Desmond and Winnie and Joshua, I want to thank you all again. I'm Franklin McKnight. Until then.